You don't get ready-made Renaissance singers by putting a postcard up in Mrs. Withers' shop window. The newsagent won't attract the people he wants. Perhaps Mr. Peters is missing his old life, so he's trying to recreate it, said James, who had read in the arts section of a national paper that a heart condition had led to Peters' retirement from a full-time music career. A fellow Madrigal, the recently widowed Melvin Hooper, waved him back to the group. Well, he's going the wrong way about it, said Daniel. At the moment, we're all close to doing the man in. He left to rejoin them. James wandered over to a trestle table where Rose and Lilac Crumb were serving. Ah, hello, the pudding is out of the copper, said James, paraphrasing Dickens, while he gazed at the delicacy in front of him. Like a speckled cannonball, so hard and firm, blazing in half a quart of flaming brandy. And Christmas hollies stuck into the top, added Professor Wilkins to his side. You know your literature, Lord Harrington. James insisted he didn't. There are quotes and passages that simply stay with me, and who can't forget the description of the feast in A Christmas Carol? He actually wished he'd had a more seasonal quote, as Christmas was still a couple of months off, but the puddings on show, he felt, warranted the great man's description. It was mid-October, and old Michaelmas Day was upon them. Michaelmas was normally celebrated at the end of September, and generally heralded the start of autumn. It was also known as Goose Day, and, although the custom had died out in many of the larger towns, some villages still held goose fairs, which attracted hundreds of visitors. Professor Wilkins, the handsome but grouchy founder and curator of the small Cavendish Museum, had suggested combining Michaelmas with Pudding Day. He had stumbled upon a fact that when the Gregorian calendar was introduced in the United Kingdom in 1750, some significant dates had changed, Michaelmas being one of them. James, Beth and the Events Committee had discussed this and decided to combine the two festivals and celebrate them between the days originally set aside on the old Julian calendar. The landlord of the Half Moon, Donovan Delaney, and his wife Kate had opened up the barn at the back of the pub for the celebrations. Rows of trestle tables displayed arts and crafts for sale, all made by residents of Cavendish and the surrounding villages. Demonstrations of painting, sketching, pyrography, knitting, cross-stitch and pottery vied for attention. Pete Mitchell, the orchard owner, and also a keen carpenter, gave displays on how to carve and whittle animals and birds from discarded bits of wood. His wife sat to one side, knitting and helping with sails. A blacksmith from Charnley hammered a length of old iron into a poker with an intricate handle. An elderly lady from Loxfield showed her weaving skills on a small loom. Mr. Bennett, James's old fishing tutor, had a number of colourful fishing flies for sale. He sat bent over his table, peering through a large magnifying glass while putting the finishing touches to a salmon fly. The Harringtons' cleaner, Mrs. Jepson, displayed some handmade cushion covers that she had fashioned from leftover material. At the opposite end of the barn to Donovan, Elsie Taylor, who ran the cafe on the road between Cavendish and Charnley, had set up a temporary tea shop, consisting of 4 tables covered with red and white check tablecloths. Members of the Women's Institute had positioned themselves next to her, their tables loaded with an array of cakes, scones, pickles and jams. By the entrance, Graham Porter had 2 geese rotating on a spit. Even from this distance, James could hear the fat spitting as it fell into the fire pit. In a little while, they would be serving small bowls of sliced goose, together with a few cubes of parsnip and gravy for those who wanted it. The children, with the exception of the toddlers, were outside on the village green, where several fairground rides were in full swing. He didn't need to see if they were enjoying themselves.